So I'm here to show you our Service Maestro product. We've had this product for over 15 years. It's developed for companies in the field service industry. And so a quick overview of some of its feature and functionality. It allows for quick entry of, and dispatching of tasks. It lets companies manage their installations. So if they sell product equipment that they also have to install those, it will allow them to manage their workflow, their business process. It allows the companies to create contracts for preventive maintenance, and it will create the tasks needed for folks to go out perform the work. It does skill matching, so based on nature of task entered for the task for the service work order, you'll be able to define series of questions that need to be filled out, as well as make sure that the technician that you're sending out has the proper skill set to work on that piece of equipment. We integrate with MapQuest, MapPoint, and also GPS devices. We track inventory at customer sites, so in the inventory file you can check a box which indicates that this is an item that you want to track at a customer site, and once that item is sold, it automatically is updated to a file, so later on you can view what is at that customer site. We track a repair history done for a piece of equipment, so whenever you're entering a service work order, a task for a piece of equipment, you can see who was there last and prior to that, and what they did, what parts they changed, and on and on. We'll let you create tasks based on bill of material options, as well as routing setup. So if you're doing an installation task, you can basically, if you're installing a door, if you need to do a site survey, do some electrical work, you can link all of those to the routing, and system would automatically create those steps for you, those work order steps, and load them on the scheduling board. We would list the parts needed for service call, management of installation process. We integrate with payroll, so all labor entries made into the system are automatically loaded into the payroll system. We integrate the job cost module, RMA, AvaTax, and of course we have a mobile solution that we'll show you later. This is our scheduling board, very, very flexible. It allows you to create as many views as you want. Basically, the content of each cell is user defined. Each cell represents a work order, which you have visibility over on this board based on the entered filters. You can drag and drop a work order from a technician a day to another technician. You have a ability to set up views by hour or by day. So you can set up security by view, so folks in one territory could not see the activity in the other territory. You can find jobs easier. You can write from the scheduling board. You can send emails to everyone. You can print it. Dispatch ticket. It allows you to manage the workflow, things like job completed in the field, dispatcher review, ready to invoice. As part of our field service product, we let you do job costing, contract costing. So right as you're entering sales orders, you can create contracts based on template contracts entered, which would let you define series of products, maybe and billing rates for work done, rates for different parts that could be used as part of doing the repair, schedule of your preventive maintenance task, and all the transactions are rolled up to the contract. Any purchase order issued as part of this contract with this customer, any RMS issued, it will let you track warranty. It will let you manage documents. All the documents processed for this contract are uploaded here. And of course, it lets you do renewal management. When it comes to renewal, we're very, very flexible. So we create preventive maintenance tasks. You have a code that you enter into the system to specify how frequently you need to visit that client, weekly, every third Tuesday of the week, once a quarter, once a month. Then when it comes to billing, you specify how you want to invoice for that service done. Once a month you want to create an invoice, or once a quarter you want to create the invoice. And when it comes to renewal, you'll be able to specify the renewal using another code. So you may be renewing once every 3 years, invoicing once a quarter, but going out there once a month to do the work. So it's very, very flexible when it gets to those functions. You have the ability, as I mentioned, from sales order entry, create a sales order based on the template that you've defined. So it would load all the items that you've linked to that template into the sales order automatically would update all of these items into the contract. So if you're selling an item and you want to update all the components of it into the contract for warranty tracking, you can. Of course, the template contract allows you to enter what labor codes are covered as part of that contract, what components are covered at what price, and so forth. Installation management. So here again, we look at a sales order. If you check this box, installation management, it allows you to check these boxes whether order is being reviewed, it's ready for installation, whether it's in production or installation. Now, these are all defined based on settings entered in the setup options. You can set up the system so a pick ticket cannot be printed until the order has been reviewed, or a production or an installation the task cannot be dispatched until order has been reviewed and as credit is approved. We have this dashboard which allows the users to quickly come in, specify which flags they want to ignore, when each person is able to just see the tasks that they need to work on. For example, if I'm in charge of inventory, I want to see or I'm in charge of installations, I want to see what orders are ready for installation. I can just check this box and not worry about any other orders in the system, and only view the orders that are ready for installation to do my scheduling work. And you can drill down to the orders from here. We link with payroll, as I mentioned. So the Mass 9 is payroll. We add an option for SM hours. You have the ability to enter range of dates, see the hours that are entered in the system. For each labor code, we specify what the earning code is for regular and overtime. We calculate overtime based on 40 hours a week or 8 hours per day. So the system would calculate what the number of regular hours, number of overtime hours. Of course, the person working with payroll can override the numbers here. Here, this drill down allows you to see the actual dispatches that the work was performed on. We also would double the rate based on the factory. Of course, mark up the rate to the customer based on the coverage hours entered for the contract. We integrate with the job cost module, so we have many clients that, in addition to using our costing for the smaller jobs, they use the job cost module for larger jobs. So any activity from our system is rolled into the job cost module. We let you link a job to a contract, a cost code to our cost code. So any activity then is loaded directly into the job cost module as a cost. This is our job cost module. There are different reports that are generated as part of our cost tracking. So if you do not want to use the job cost module, you have the ability to do this, and it will give you visibility over all the different contracts that you're processing by cost codes that are linked to inventory items, to labor codes. Of course, you can post to the contract from the AP module and so forth. So all the information is rolled into the cost. RMA entry, you can issue RMAs directly from the job cost, from service work orders. We also have a link with MapPoint and MapQuest, so both products will give you the ability to view all the tasks entered for a given region here. You have the ability to see directions. You have the ability to decide who you want to assign the task to, and this screen is not the MapPoint integration. Previous screen was the MapQuest integration. We have a mobility solution that we've developed that gives you the ability to view in the field information of on-service work orders. We're using the S-Data. It just recently got developed. It's completely stage compliant. We developed it using the S-Data technology, so if in the future we can link with other Sage solutions, but it gives you the ability to log in using any device, tablet, PCs, Androids, iPhones, iPads. Gives you the ability to view the customer information as well as task information. As you can see, the screen is automatically adjusting its size based on the device. It will give you the ability to do item lookup, to enter the quantities. You define how many days back and forth you want to see, and the information is live. It's updated live into the service Maestro. You have the ability to capture signature, which is automatically loaded as far as the documents that are kept for each task. So in our system, we give you the ability to store documents, drag and drop documents that relate to a contract or a task, as well as we give you the ability to scan documents and load those scanned documents link him to a specific task, and then it automatically gets loaded. Of course, we work with Business Insight Explorer views. We have views for contracts, tasks, installation work orders, and on and on. It's all developed in a business object framework. It's SQL compatible, and on and on. So here are some screens. Any UDF created in the dispatch data entry program, for example, can be loaded into the sales order, and from sales order to shipment history, and on and on. So with that, that's a quick overview of the system. And here what I have up on my screen is my dispatch board. So we talked about scheduling board or dispatch board having all the work orders that are in the system displayed on the screen. It's very flexible. You can change the width of the field. Here you have the ability to set up the system. So as you click on a cell, it shows you the information below. Here we're showing you different colors for the status of the task and the work order. So the tasks service work orders tasks are added to the scheduling board in one of three ways. You can either right-click and basically add a new task to the system. So I'm just going to quickly add a new task to the system. So I just right-click, indicated that I want to add a new task to the system. It will bring up our service work order task data entry program. I'm going to start by entering the description for the task. Customer call, there is a problem with the system. So I can enter as many lines as I want, lines as needed. Of course, this is a security controlled field, so yeah, a lot of companies would want the dispatcher to be able to enter this information, but the field folks to just be able to view. So you have the ability to set that up so not everyone can work with this information. Because we have timestamps, so all entries could be timestamped as to who worked on it and what. Of course, we have a link with Mass90's AR module. It's as you can see, the product is developed in Mass90. It's not a product that integrates with the system. Here I'm going to select the customer. Of course, we do all the things like memos are set up so you can see the memo in task data entry or contract maintenance. We support memos for customers. There's also ability to enter memos for tasks. There's one of three ways to look up a customer. So if you're entering a customer, you can either go to the contract database here, or the item database, or the shipment items that are at customer side, and view the task. I'm going to accept this just to show you how quickly you can add a task to the system. So all you need to do is just enter a description, select the customer, and accept. That's how easy it is to add a task. So if you have someone that is just receiving calls and entering them into the system, they can do their job very quickly. So that's all it takes to add a task to the system. I'm going to just bring up another bring up the system and just enter another task to just show you some of the other fields that are available to enter as part of doing my entry. So as I mentioned, we can do the lookup by contracts. And one of the nice things about looking up by contract is that now you have ability to items that are covered by the contract, and you can look up and find a location by the item and the serial number that they're giving you. So here I'm going to select, of course, if the contract is expired, the system will tell you that that's for an expired company. Now, some of the things that could get loaded based on the item is the coverage, is the hours of operation, is response time. So those are all entered as part of the contract. So I'm going to spend a little time here to just kind of talk to you about what are some of the things that we let you enter for each service work order for each task. So here is the preferred technician, the piece of equipment that you're going to repair. So I have the ability to select one, and here I loaded the equipment, but I have the ability to look at all the repair history done for that item. If for that item if done any repair would be displayed in here. There are other things looking up the items and looking at the items from the contract, what's entered on the contract, customer sales history, and again, look at it. So this is the tax schedule, the territory that belongs to response coverage was entered in the Contract level will be loaded, so and that could be printed on the generated work order that so they know the coverage is 9 to 5 or 9 to 7 based on this contract's coverage. The quoted amount in hours, if you have quoted certain hours, you can enter that. Customer PO number, things like customer PO and contract being required are settings in the customer master file, so the system would with a billing frequency, you can, as you close each task, you can create an invoice, or you can set up a billing frequency by customer, by contract, monthly, weekly, so the system would know when to do, when to create the invoice. Of course, we have the document path for this task. So any tasks are entered, you can do drag and drop of other documents. In here, you can view the task documents. You can drag the documents into here. What we have basically a concept of a service work order and a dispatch that you can on the service work order task, you enter the header information. Where are you going? What piece of equipment you're going to work on? What are the coverages for that contract? Then on the dispatch screen is when you send someone out. Of course, in here, in the case that the customer PO is required, that's sitting in the okay. So here we're going to dispatch this. So a dispatch is a transaction where now you will be able to enter labor and material for that visit. You can have a one-to-one relationship, meaning you can have one dispatch for a service work order, or one-to-many. So if you're sending multiple persons out, you can create multiple dispatches, one for each technician. Or if you're going to send the same person on 2 to 3 days, you can just create one dispatch for each day. You have the ability to enter labor information, as well as items that are either you can enter what you think they need to take with them. The dispatcher can do that, which prints on the work order, or when they're done with their work, they'll enter the labor, and they'll enter the parts used. And of course, this is the part that you have the ability to enter this information in the field. Labor codes are defined by you. You can have as many labor codes that you want. System would automatically calculate by clicking on start and end the hours. You have ways to set up whether there's a minimum so many minutes to charge the intervals, as well as you how to run the hours up. It's very easy to close a task into the invoice. So if you just bring up a task and a dispatch, you have the ability to just close it and create a sales order and invoice. So if I just select it's closed here, I'll be able to close this dispatch and generate a sales order and invoice right here. And here I'm creating a Sage 100 invoice that would get loaded into the system based on the entries made for the labor and material. Okay, so there was no labor or material entered, but for the entered labor and material, the system would create the invoice. So if right from here you can open the invoice, you can open the contract. I want to quickly cover the contract and talk about preventive maintenance task setup. So here, this is the contract number for this task. If I click on this link, it will take me to the contract maintenance. Here I have the ability to view the duration of the contract. Again, the contract has its own document path. I'll be able to see all the transactions that are linked to these contracts, all the sales orders, purchase orders, invoice histories, and RMS. Job costs, as I mentioned, every inventory item, every labor code is assigned a job code, which gets rolled into here. Here I will see all my work order, service work orders, active and history. Here I'll be able to enter rates that I have for labor and item or skill codes, and I'll be able to enter expiration dates. So if some items I'm only warranting for 90 days versus 120 days, I'll be able to do that. Using this button here, I'll be able to create my preventive maintenance schedule. So I have the ability to basically here enter if I need to visit this client, what the PM code needs to be, and so here I could be weekly, it could be monthly, the interval for the visits. I can do things such as say I want to get there daily, weekly, Monday, third Monday of the week, and so forth, and basically create my schedule. I can do things. The things must be selected. So I can do things like if you're going out to work on this piece of equipment, what components and what labor you need to take with you, and the system would automatically load those into the created work orders. The service work orders for scheduled visits are created by running a program on the menu that creates the tasks and loads the component and labor based on the entries here. Of course, we talked about, you know, having the ability to define the billing frequency for each one of these jobs, as well as renewal frequencies using all the different entries. For each visit done based on the nature of task, you can specify questions that would be asked and get loaded into the dispatch, so technician would be forced to enter values for those entries. When it comes to renewal time, you can enter the item number to be used for renewal, the vendor number if you need to issue a purchase order to a vendor would be defined, as well as the vendor amount and the miscellaneous code to be used to create the renewal purchase order. So if you're maintaining a piece of server, and as part of the maintenance, you also need to purchase a annual contract from Cisco or Dell, you specify that, and the system allows you to create that. I'm going to go into the sales order and quickly show you how you would create tasks from the sales order and module and load them into the scheduling board. So sales order entry, we've added few pieces of information to it. The first thing is the template contract, which I have the ability to click on this pound sign. The system will show me my template contracts. By selecting a template contract, I have the option of both loading certain items into the created sales order, as well as rolling all the information that relate to this contract into the contract for profitability tracking. So contracts could be set up for managing an installation and tracking the costing, as well as the annual support that you provide for a piece of equipment where all the tasks would be issued. You'll have the billing done from here, which would roll up to the contract as profit, revenue, and all the work that you do on the contract. For example, if would go through it as non-billable, but all the expenses will be rolled up, so you'll have the visibility over the cost part of it. So you can flag a contract as to all parts and labor are covered, and that'll take care of that part of it. As we talked about, you can enter a contract amount. Template contract has no item. If it has any items, we'll let you load the items into the sales order. One of the things we do now, the contract is created, we give you the ability, even when the sales order is in the quotation stage, to start tracking labor. Let's say you need to do some design work pre-sales. A lot of companies like to track that time. Even once the transaction is in a quote state, you can create a contract, you can create tasks, and based on the created tasks, I can basically, I guess I clicked on. So I can come here and select one of the items here. So this is a residential garage door with a quantity of 1 that I'm entering. As you can see, the system is going to ask me a series of questions, whether we're going to do tear downs as well or haul away. All of these questions are defined in the Sage Bill of Material record, which I can bring up very quickly. So here's a residential door. These are the questions. I have a routing installed for door, created for door installation, which we can quickly view as well. So here's my door installation routing. It has these steps. So what the system is going to do for every task that I flagged as generate task, the system would create a task which would be linked to this sales order that I'm processing, as well as if I have a task linked to, if I have a routing linked to any one of these options, for example, tear down. Tear down could have its own routing of tear down, or and then I'm just going to select hallway, and then basically based on that the routing hallway would work, and then anything that I've defined for the hallway would also get added to the list of tasks created. So here's the hallway. So I have two routings that would be used as part of processing this sales order. So option selected would be tear down and hallway, and once I OK it, now I have the information here. If I click on this button here, tasks would get generated, and the generated tasks would be linked to this sales order. So right from sales order entry, I can edit, view, see the status of them. I can enter budget, planned hours for each one of these tasks, and print reports that show the actual labor and entered an amount versus what I had coded. On the scheduling board, I will be able to see these tasks, 1034, 1040, and there's a two-way link between scheduling board and my screen, so I'll be able to make any changes from in one versus the other and view the information. These are the tasks 1034, so I can drag him and drop him from one day to the other, from one person to the other, and accordingly they'll be changed on my sales order entry screen. So if I accept this and I go back to it again, I will see all the changes made to the technicians that were changed and so forth and so on. I also, this is as far as managing the installation, this is the installation checkbox. If I click here, I'll be able to, and again, these are all security controls fields, be able to flag as work is done. Each person would be able to flag that the order did get reviewed, inventory is ready for installation, and then what that would do is as in this program, folks will be able to view just the transactions that relate to. So if I only want to see what's ready for installation, I can clear it and scan it, and it will show me only the orders that are ready for installation is checked, or ready for installation is not checked, and I want to look at those. Similarly, if I'm in charge of credit, I can say ignore all this other, and I want to work with credit approved and see which are the orders that are not credit approved, and just view those orders and take the needed steps. Okay. So just want to quickly go over the scheduling board. So we talked about there's many different views that you can create. So I can create a view 010, and my could just be my installations. Of course, there's security settings for creating views as well as who can change views. You can, if you have many different branches, you can create a supervisor in the office, and I can create all the views. We link technicians to views, so when a technician logs in, a dispatcher logs in, knows that that dispatcher belongs to Los Angeles office or Orange County office, and will only display the tasks that are assigned to that location. Here is filtering. I can basically see that this view has two filters. And here, this example is all, but I could create a view that is just showing certain type of task types. I can say on this view, only show me the installation task and nothing else. So next time when I'm looking at the view 10, it would only show me my installation tasks and not all the tasks. When I go back to my tasks again, I have the ability to decide what I want to display in each one of the fields. First of all, if I don't want this view have all 5 lines, I can uncheck some of these fields, and my view would now have just 3 lines. You have the ability to modify the label for the field. So if just the territory is enough, I can just change this field to territory. Or if I know my customer number, I don't want anything displayed for it, I can just remove that. I assign colors to each one of these displays. So if I wanted to stand out and I wanted to show it in a different color, I can do that on that entry. I can specify what color I want to use for my past 2 tasks. I can specify whether or not I want hours to display. Notice that at this time the board just shows the days and the technicians. Now after selecting hours, now when I go back to my view, I would see hours, and I'll be able to basically schedule based on hours as opposed to based on the days. So it goes all the way down to 9 minutes. Then you have the ability to specify whether you want to see grids, whether you want to show the history, whether you want to show inactive technicians, whether you want dates to be as columns, be shown as dates or rows. You could do that. It will switch there. Each view you can set up if you want to show a week, or you want to show so many days back and so many days forward. You can, as when it comes to unassigned technician, you can have it freeze. So if you're scrolling down, you have many technicians, you know, whether or not to freeze the unassigned technician. This has to do with displaying the colors. You can have it show the range of days on this tasks screen. So it's very easy to drag a task from one day to the other. So you just have to just drag it and drop it. So if this is gonna take 3 days, you just drag and drop it, and it'll exceed it. You know, you change the duration of it based on the setting of the board. You can move a task from one day to the other. So here I can just take this and say this is gonna be this long. It's gonna take longer than just the 1 day. Of course, that's. So that gets you know, not dragged into those that many days. I can move it from one to the other. We allow you to send emails. Emails could go out from the menu for all the tasks that are scheduled for tomorrow, for example. And when you do that, you have the ability to send emails, and you define a template which you can mail. You can merge fields from the task into the template and send the email out to folks that, yes, we're scheduled to be there. Of course, that could be text message. We're scheduled to be there tomorrow to work on such and such, and you can send it to the customer, to the technician, to the contact, attach the report, the actual copy of the report that you plan on going out doing the work. We talked about a workflow. Usually the way you know, works is folks are able to assign tasks to a technician. Technician would see it on a device, or you can send an email to technician that you need to be at a site tomorrow. The technician gets to the site. Once they're done with the job, they can just quickly change the status of it on the device to a job completed, perhaps. Now, the way the system works, you can then the dispatcher, the supervisor, can have a view that shows only the jobs that are flagged as job completed. Just view those, make sure labors are entered at the right rate, and the inventory is properly entered, and then after that change the status to ready to invoice, for example, and at which time someone in accounting just going to this program could generate all the invoices for every task that has a status of ready to invoice, and just go through that process and quickly complete the tasks. We talked about skill matching very quickly. You have the ability to enter for each. You have the ability to enter each task for each nature of task. So here is an installation, and you know, installing the program, what the job code is, what the default technician. What are the 5 questions
Alec, I think we might have lost you. Alec, I'm not hearing you again. Hello, Myron.
What's ready for installation, you just click on that button, it will do that. I believe this system is linked with the MapQuest. So if I click here, it will bring up MapQuest, which I will have the visibility over all the tasks that are scheduled in that territory, in the territory that is defined here for the date range. Probably going to be a lot of tasks here, but it would load all of those. You have the ability to change the date. So if someone calls you and wants you to send a technician out 3 days from now, you can just change the date to that date and see who's going to be in the area, and then from there assign that task to the one technician or the other, or the person who's the closest there. Of course, MapQuest and MapPoint have a bit different feature and functionality, but the MapQuest allows you to see the direction, and you have the ability to basically see that. As you can see, there's a lot of tasks in this area, but what it does, it shows me all the technicians that I have, and shows me for that date range in that technician, as I click on each one of my technicians, how many tasks they have. And each one of these technicians, as you can see, has many tasks in there. I can right click on it and say show direction if I want to see directions and so forth right from here. I have the ability to have it hide the fields if I do not want to see the fields. Want to now quickly get out of field service and go display the mobility part. And for that, I'm just going to get out of this system and then go into so basically the technician would enter the company code that we want to connect to, the user and the password, and it would bring up all the tasks that are assigned to that technician for the enter date range. So here this person has two tasks assigned. You have the ability to, of course, decide how many tasks to show per page depending on your device. Go back and forth in different pages. Here, if I want to see, here I'm showing the task number 905, dispatch number 1 for customer ABF. This is the date for it, and if I select that task, then I'll be able to see some more information on the task, task information, task description. They had more additional line. I can see the customer information, who that customer is, and what location, the ship to location. If I decide that this is the task that I want to work on, I accept it, confirm it, and basically now what it's going to do, it's going to tell me that this is the task, this is the dispatch. I can quickly change the status of it. And now this does live updating. It requires to have that device to be connected to internet. I can change the status to any status that I want. I can then do item entry, can change the date, or I can just say item entry, click on item entry. I will show me the items that are entered. I can select one and edit it. If I wanted to edit it, I can remove it if I just did not use that item, or I can enter new items if I decide to add a new item. Similarly, I can do labor entry. If I want to add a new labor, I can add a new labor and start typing install. It will show me the installation, the rate, how many hours spent on it, and then I can enter, got there at 10 a.m. and worked until I was done with the task, and submit that as an entry, which would go in there. And it's yes, alert. Yes, so I just so we just developed this system that basically works, and we wanted to make sure it gets ready for Summit, which we're very happy that we were able to get to work with Sage S-Data and develop a solution that is completely done using S-Data technology, using HTML5, so it will work with all devices. We're working on it every day to make sure that it is ready and is rolled out. We have clients that have committed to it, and they're starting working on it for us. So this is the mobility solution. I'm gonna get out of this and come back to our so with this, Adrian, if there are any questions, I can take some of the questions, and if there are no questions, then I can talk about statuses. I can talk about other things as far as what could be done in this system.
Thank you, Alec. We do have several questions. I would like to start the question and answer off with a poll, if I may. And then I did want to remind the audience, thank you so much for your attendance. Everyone who attends the entire presentation, Alec, I believe you are offering a gift card to Starbucks, correct?
Absolutely. Whatever you say, Adrian, we never, disagree with anything you say.
Thank you. Oh, you are always so kind. Are you interested in learning more? If the audience could just take a moment to answer that question, we would love to hear from you. And we do have several questions here that I'm going to read off. We have several, so I'm going to start from the beginning here. For your question, can you customize the names and number of status categories?
Yes, the statuses are user defined. So the status that are available to you enter. Now some statuses we use in the system for different functions that we manage, but yes, the customers can add their own statuses. One thing I failed to mention, for example, is you can, when the technicians in the field, they can create a purchase order right from the dispatch for the parts that they determine that needs to be purchased, and the system creates the PO right from service management. When the PO receiving module, you receive the parts, you'll come back to the task and change the status of it. So the things like that, waiting for parts and updated receipt we use, but others you can use and create your own. And assign the color to it, so the color would display, and folks in the field would have visibility over what's the status of it. A lot of our customers have big TVs now in their field technicians area, where they just shows everybody's task for a day, what's the status of it, and on and on.
And we have a few more questions too. Thank you, Dorothy, for that question. If you do need further clarification, please do indicate another question, and we will also follow up with you after the presentation just to make sure we answered your question clearly. And Maria, thank you so much for your questions here. So you have two. Can the technician create invoices in the field?
Yes, the mobility device, once you close the dispatch, it's just like closing the dispatch in the office. It will go ahead and ask whether you want to create an invoice or load the items into a sales order, and an invoice would get generated right from the field. And the signature is captured, signature gets loaded at the task level, invoice is generated and loaded into the sales order. It's maybe a good idea to point out that whenever you close a task and a dispatch, you have the ability to load that information to an existing sales order. So if you have a sales order that you'll be using to capture information from different dispatches during the week and invoice that at the end, you could do that. Or if you want to just individually just create one-off invoices, you can do that from the field as well.
Perfect. So Alec, and another part of that question, can the technician take payments in the field?
No, we basically what we do, we allow you to specify a payment type by task, which is credit card, we would use the customer's default payment method in the customer maintenance and pass that to the task, and from the task bring that into the invoice. But and they would just have to have an application from the bank, swipe it, and just mark it as paid. But we do not, as is right now in our mobility, we do not integrate with banks to let you swap the card and bring the credit card information into the system. That's probably something we'll be doing in the coming months.
And we have another question from Wes. Wes, thank you so much for your question. Did you say that you can email the job directly from the dispatch board?
That's correct. That you just click on send email, and you send the email to technicians, customers, or both. It uses the default template that has been created, and we'll send the email out.
And we have a question from Amy. Thank you. How do you show jobs that are older than a week, but older than a week old, but not billed?
You have the bill. So one of the things you would do, as part of the scheduling board, you enter how many days back do you want to see. So you can just basically specify 10 days old, and anything that shows up there, you need to look into. Customers need to look at why is that still open in the system. So if I uncheck show the history and say show me 10 days old, anything that shows up there, I need to investigate and find out what happened.
And we have another question from Wes. If you have dragged and dropped a document into the service call and email the call to the tech, will the document be attached to the email, such as doc or .doc or .pdf?
Yes, a lot of those, of course, as part of implementation, they're all functions that we support. That's why, it basically, the email also gives you the ability, as part of creating the email, is to specify where you want to attach document. Attached report. So, but a lot of that functionality is available. You can just decide, drag and drop document, attach the report that is created, and send it to the customer. So some of those would be things that you need to do with doing the implementation. But we have many clients that documents created. Now, having the ability to specify questions by nature of task and documents, would also help with that. We can set something up as part of formatting the form that if a memo exists with the task name, it automatically gets attached and sent to the technician.
And this is a two-part question. Thank you, Krista. The first part is in regards to a technician being on site with a residential customer. Does your solution allow for the technician to print receipts on the spot after electronic signature is obtained?
A lot of companies that we work with use small notebooks and netbooks, which give them full functionality to a lot of functions, like accepting credit card. We work with Sage Payment Solution, printing tickets, and so forth. And now, as far as printer, if you have a small printer that is linked to your device, handheld device, we need to figure out how to derive that printer from that handheld phone. But things like that sort of we've done as part of our other solutions. Of course, if they decide if they want to give more and more functionality to the folks in the field instead of a cell phone, if they use a tablet, then it would run the actual programs in the field, and we'll have a lot more flexibility over what we're doing, from scanning to credit card accepting to printing.
And the second part of the question, Alec, is the only part of this solution that is cloud-based is the mobile section, correct? The dashboard is not cloud-based.
That's correct. That's correct. So basically, we support Sage 100, all of deployment methods that are available for Sage 100. So we have very many clients that the server is not on site, is in the cloud, and we have no problem supporting that. So you could actually have clients that do not have the server in their own location, that the Sage 100 is hosted and will run on those systems without any problems. And of course, Sage 100 is the purchase method is available, either subscription or outright purchase. We can work with you on that too if you want to do subscription price for our service module as well.
And Michael, thank you for this question. We are a commercial restaurant repair company and currently use automated service for dispatch. Could you download our current customer base from automated into your service management solution?
We have done that many times. We have no problem doing that.
And Wes, thank you for this question. What is the role of iigservices.com and erpvar.com? We work with IIG. My name's Adrienne Montgomery. I'm one of the founders of erpvar.com, and I have worked with Alec at IIG for, 15 years, I would say, since I did work for Sage for a time, and that's where I developed my relationship with Alec. Alec was always an award-winning partner with IIG. And developed quite a number of enhancements for Sage 100 ERP. And we have teamed up to help get the word out about IIG's service management solution. So hopefully that answers your question, Wes. And then, Wes, we have another question from you. Thank you. What is the size of the support staff for the software?
We have a full-time support person in the office that his job is Peter. His job is just to provide support for clients. We have our own development team. We have 15 persons in our development department. Our development department, of course, they work on all our other products, our rental, our apparel, our warehouse management, and other products that we have. Of course, we have our implementation folks that would get engaged in help you during the implementation process, work with the reseller or work with you directly. And as needed, you basically will call either those folks in the implementation team, or you be assigned a person that is working with you during the implementation. Of course, you have the support desk, and we always have an administrative person, administrative project coordinator in-house that is working in-house 40 hours a week, is in the office and can answer your questions and link you with the proper person.
And we have another question from Dorothy. What version of Sage 100 do you have to be on to use this module?
So I'm showing you a 2013. We also have 2014 available. So either one, of course, going down 4.5, 4.4, any version that you want would be available.
And will there be annual support fees?
That's correct. So we provide annual maintenance and support, and that entitles you to receive the product in the latest version of Sage at no charge.
And I don't see any other questions. If you do have a question, please go ahead and indicate it, and we will read it off. I would like to share the results of our poll. And it looks like 93% of you are interested in learning more. Thank you for that. And we will be sending out the recording along with Alec's full contact information and IIG. He has several people working with him to support your inquiries.
And please provide us the name of the folks that we need to send the gift cards for,
Perfect. I will give you all of that, Alec. We'll get all that prepared for you. And then let me just take a look here and make sure we don't have any other questions. And then I'm just curious if we could maybe just get a show of hands by just clicking on the hand button on your webinar pane. If you are going to Sage Summit, if you might just raise your hand. Thank you, Tracy and Maria. And we are looking forward to seeing you next week. Alec, what is your booth number?
Booth 1226.
Perfect.
Looking forward to meet everyone. We'll have the software with us. So if anybody wants to meet with us, we can do a one-on-one demo. We can answer any questions they might have.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Alec, for this wonderful presentation. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And we'll definitely be in touch. And Alec, would you like to close it out with anything further?
We just want to thank everyone again. We're very committed to the field service industry, have many years of experience, have worked with many different clients. So a lot of functionality that may not be part of the package, we have a lot of expertise and we can quickly implement a solution for your specific needs. So please feel free to reach out to us. We will provide one-on-one demonstrations and requirement gathering calls to make sure that we answer any question that you have.
All right, with that said, thank you again. Everybody have a great weekend. And if you're going to Summit, we look forward to seeing you there. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.